Hello, friends of Komodo Platform. It's me, Giuliano. It's July 17. We're already halfway through that month of July. And I'm here to share with you some interesting ideas. Yes, just trolling through the charts, looking for some thoughts to percolate. And there we have it. I've got some thoughts I'd like to share. So sharing this screen, using the getaurox terminal for this KMD BTC look. Okay, wow. Where do we start? We're at a 31,707 BTC USD on that chart. But anyway, what are we here for? We're here for the KMD BTC. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing very well. Yes, a moment of silence for this strange view. What's going on here? I've inverted the scale. This is monthly KMD data from Bitrex exchange, whatever. It's just based on this long-term data, just to show, when we're looking at the Binance chart here, here's the Bitrex information, the Binance KMD BTC pair chart information starts around here, back in the November, December of 2017 timeframe, as you get the big up and then the down, okay? This one shares a bit more information before that, okay? This is a monthly time frame. So when I look at the Bitrex information, it's gonna be on the weekly time frame. Just wanted to check it out on the monthly. I started working with this, and then this is where we are. I was thinking to myself, WTF is going on here? All this price action on the downside from back in 2017, 2018. And so here we are, down at this doubling bottom type of area, okay? So close to zero, negative zero, okay? This is unprecedented, isn't it? Well, maybe, maybe not. So the next question is the geometry, the structure. What can we think about where are we going to go? People who look at geometry, the friends of Elliott Wave, come on in and take a look. The counts themselves, they don't have to be exact and right. It's more so the principle and idea, because we're looking for the overall shape, and that involves both axes. It involves the price axis, which is vertical, and the time axis, which is horizontal, creating the geometry. Now, none of this financial advice. It's just the ideas that I'm seeing here. Okay. Well, what did we have? Basically, we had this down, up, down, sideways, down movement. When we went up to this previous level and at a significant rate. So to me, that signals an end of this, looks like 5 waves of movement here. I get some decent alternation between 2 and 4, a short little 5 compared to the rest. And yes, now it doesn't matter if it's a real 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, one thing I've come to realize, friends of the Neo Wave, you can construct a wave. A wave can be constructed, I should say, with a corrective pattern, an impulsive pattern. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can be full of ABCs. Anyway, that's another story. So here we have it. There's this channeling as well, which has happened here with the 0, 1, 2. So the 0 to 2, and then this 1 to 3 trend lines. And the channeling narrows into the center, okay, and then tests we're back here towards the center. Okay, tests. So let's just flip it, because that's really, you know, when we're looking. So the why is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down? That's the trend. Look at the trend. It's a downward trend, and therefore 5 waves down. Is this the exact count? Maybe yes, maybe no. It could be, this could be the 3 wave instead of the 5, and then this here could be our 5th failure. Okay, whatever it is. In fact, I mean, if anything, that's more likely. I must say. And in which case, that's what I'm saying too, is that almost the count doesn't necessarily matter, in the sense that we're looking for more so the structure and the scale. Now, yes, sorry, the count would matter, and it does make a difference, because that could be the difference between going here, let's say, versus something else. But anyway, this feels right here, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we get up to our top here, and then we start making a correction. And it looks some sort of a flat pattern with, let's say, because we come down with our first corrective move, which would be, let's say, A, and then a B, which reaches nearly or around the same as the top of the 5th of the impulse. So this first move here would be at this type of 100% retracement, would be of the A wave, would be a flat pattern building out here. So we could imagine here a C wave of this initial corrective move here, if there would be an initial, then yeah, the C wave could come around. And then the reason being, okay, so if it is a flat pattern and we measure this A wave retracement, then we can measure our retracement of the B wave, which is from, let's say, around here. These are just rough areas, right? So a common flat would be around to the 9,000 Satoshis, okay? So 9,000 seems reasonable with a wick, even, you know, even to the 10,000, okay? The wick makes the 1618, that's reasonable, okay? Especially after, I mean, after such a big move up, we have to confirm that there is a counter trend going to happen. Otherwise, how long? I mean, where can it go from here? Are we going into the negative 22? Don't think so. And based on that, though, I mean, this one shape here, then what happens? Well, what do we do after an ABC like this, for example, as just an example? We would have to retrace that at some point, because maybe this ABC would be part of a bigger either flat pattern or zigzag pattern, whatever. Maybe it would be just on the cusp. That's where I had it, was on the cusp, roughly around the 61.8 level. And yeah, that would be the kind of idea. And who's to say, right, that it has to be an ABC? It could be some other movement. We could be working with X waves and other things like that, right? Yeah, so, but the basic idea is, how can we make ourselves into a shape that makes sense? That's the basic idea that I've been working with. So we move into this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 upward trending, hit that middle region, come back down, test this channeling action here, and then back up roughly around that midline. And now, are we going to keep going again? Are we making it to the negative 22? I don't think so. Therefore, unless it's some sort of asymptote and we do one of these forever, then we're going to have to create some sort of shape. So this just looks right. It feels right as to the shape that we could be creating. So we get that. And then maybe this whole ABC would be maybe an A, or yeah, like a single wave. So we'd have a retracement of that. And so a retracement of that, let's say from around that beginning of the A to roughly that, so the A to the end of the A wave there, roughly there. And so we're talking, let's say a 618 would be a retracement around the 5,000 Satoshi level, which would match with this type of support resistance area, okay? Otherwise, then which would create possible zigzag type of movement. Otherwise, some sort of a flat movement might take us into the roughly, again, 4,000, 3,000 Satoshi level, which would be a weaker flat. And yeah, there's nothing to say that we don't come back down to create another movement. But you know, the way that it likes to move, especially if it's going to be counter trend, I don't know if an overall flat would be happening, and maybe somehow this flat here is itself working into a 5 for the A, and then some sort of B, and then C, or maybe, yeah, again, we're going elsewhere. But a one-to-one with this, like if that's where you'd be looking, a one-to-one with this type of zigzag, say you're here, okay, and you're starting that zigzag, and you're coming here to the A of the zigzag, going roughly to that 5,000 level for the B, would take you again to about a 14, 15,000 Satoshi level for the C, which is, these are reasonable levels and numbers, isn't it? It seems as though, and that would confluence with this kind of support, AKA resistance. Remember, this is inverted. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. I think that it's interesting to consider. Not to say that this is what's going to happen, right? But I'm looking at the shape, I'm looking at the overall geometry and the size and the trajectory and the, you know, the timing. Like this is January of 2024. So am I saying this is the time frame and the exact look? No. There could be much more impulsive up and then down, but you know, based on the way this one worked here, it seems as though this would be reasonable. And actually, when we start looking at other type of horizontal axis, aka time frame analysis, we could see that it could be reasonable, it could work. We start working with some sort of a 20-week principle. But anyway, we're gonna take a look at that. Okay, so that's the general idea. Does that make sense? I hope I haven't really left anything out. Yeah. What does this look like to you? I'd love to hear your comments. Thanks for liking the video and all of that good stuff. Okay, so from here, we're going to move into the weekly. Whoa, okay, so what are we really looking at here? We're looking at Binance chart data. I wanted to keep these things on screen so that I would remember. So what we're looking at here time-wise, okay, this is a weekly chart. Binance, remember, we're missing all this data back here from all this stuff, whatever was there, okay? Something like that, all right? So here, if this previous stuff here came after, so we're looking at the timing of that. And that also, remember I said, like thinking about into the future. So that was that idea. And that came from basically from this, which, okay, so now we're on a weekly time frame. So things shape up a bit differently. We're looking now even at the line chart, not even at a bar chart. So whatever, take it with what you will, right? Okay, so these are the recent moves from 2019. November 2019, after it was at its highest level, you know, 2019, since the lower level of October. Okay, so then it went to its next higher, its next lower high compared to these previous. And so here it is. And what type of shape is it making? Because, okay, what did we see? Well, look, you got from here, the reason why I isolate it, see, that's the other thing is depending on how you isolate it, you can create different type of shapes and patterns in it, but it's all about creating a geometry that makes sense and gives you an ability to consider where things might go and how they might get there. Okay, so it was this idea here, you know, some sort of ABC, X, ABC, where you're down here, or some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then some sort of X here, and then you get some sort of ABC. Whatever you're looking at, you can isolate this as a pattern, isolate this as a pattern. It's more so that this was isolated as a pattern. The reason being is that this level here from B to C was isolated. See, what I did was I was thinking, okay, we're looking over here now, aren't we? We're looking over here at this price over here, and we're like, okay, what's going on? Well, to really understand that, we might want to consider where did it come from, and where is it now, and what is it part of, right? So we start looking out, and we say, wow, okay, there was this move here from a high to a low, just quite an impulsive move down. that's got to be, that's some sort of 5. It's some sort of, even if that 5 is part of a bigger move, well, then likely it would be either part of a flat or a zigzag. Based on all the shapes that comes before it, it would make sense then that this could be some form of zigzag within a bigger pattern. That's fine, but it could be a zigzag here where we're making some sort of A, B, C. Oh, I already did it in orange for it. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so it's there in orange, considering that, you know, you could have some sort of a 5 and then you work your way here and then another 5 here and you have an ABC pattern. Interestingly, some things that combine with it roughly is this type of 19-20 bars down, 20, 21 bars across, and then 20-ish bars down, 19-20 bars down. And that is an interesting relationship. Generally, they would be some sort of alternation or difference, but meaning, okay, maybe that isn't the pattern overall, but it gives a certain sense of relationships of price action, because when we take this type of timing and we apply it to the next stages of the chart, prior and post this ABC price action, we start getting things like 20, 18, 19 bars. Gives us, let's say, some form of movement in one direction, and then to the next direction, we get another, let's say this is a rough estimate idea, who knows? Okay, it brings us to about end of September, beginning October of 2021. And before that, about 19, 21, 19. So we take it here. We get this type of movement sideways, really, but a strange sideways movement where we go down and up, which is a 16 bar movement. All right, fine. It doesn't even have to be, it was probably not even for the down and up, so it was probably to the down. Anyway, just to see that when you combine, you have another, let's say 16, 17, you have another 17. Here you have another 16, this is an up movement. Here you have a 15, which was this basically sideways down movement. You have this 13 bars here, or sorry, 15 bars here, which was this down movement. And you have this about 17 bars here, which was this roughly downside movement, right? Okay, so ultimately what we're looking at here is chunks of time. So it doesn't have to be 20, doesn't have to be 19, doesn't have to be 18 or 15, but it seems to be like a 15 to 20-ish bar time frame where there is some sort of change, okay? Even though from here, 15 all the way across, it was sideways, so we can start combining them. And that's where you get something like this, where you get 60 bars across here, and then maybe we're working with another 60 bars across this way. And maybe after that 60 bars, we get another roughly 60 or 55, whatever bars of activity, okay? But when it's impulsive type of moves, that can be helpful to consider. It's just, all of this seems to be helpful for the mindset and the time frames. The mindset because of the time frames. Now, looking at, okay, this ABC, we see again some idea here that it likes the one-to-one, you know, the one-to-one where the A, the B, and the C, when you use that Fibonacci extension tool from the A, so the A and the C are roughly one-to-one. So that's another interesting consideration to make with this price movement here, okay? Now, considering that, it really brings us back to, well, it all started really from looking at lower time frames and wondering, okay, on a daily, WTF is going on. Where are we? What's happening? And now it starts to seem so much less significant. Okay, doesn't it? I don't know. Seems like it. Anyway, so now we start to get the sense that this area should, if anything, hold. We're looking for it to hold. Again, none of this is exact financial advice. Whoops. This area should hold in some sort of significant way. Okay, and if it doesn't, then we're really, you know, well, whatever. Again, it's a daily. I mean, it could come all the way down here and go back up here and do all these kinds of things. But let's get this to hold over here and then make our next move up towards this 200-day moving average. We have those levels that are now, we are not seeing them, but they are there. I'll reveal them again in future videos. But yeah, overall, it's not, yeah, this is not looking too bad. Okay. Still holding the 2000 Satoshi, but the thing is, whew, it'll be tough. It'll be tough. Now, as a BTC level, it helps because even if Bitcoin crashes hard in price and the Komodo price is falling in USD, maybe the BTC price will suffer less. And all that being said, I mean, again, the 1900 Satoshi level is a level to be considered, and that's where I started looking at the 4-hour price chart and start bringing back in well, we're going to bring in Ichimoku, Bollinger Band. That's right for now. So really difficult time holding this area. Not looking super great, but back to these levels, and we are looking at this for our support. So there's an easy chance to get back down to these 1900 levels. That's basically where I was looking at the 1900. Okay, we could get some 1900 on the 4-hour price chart. It's possible. And also, having said that, the thing that brought me there as well. Let's just take a look here. Let's play with our zigzag movements. Okay, some sort of A, B, and where are we going? Let's find out. So let's take our fib extension. Oops, roughly 1950-ish. Okay, so very possible. Let's look for that as the support. If yeah, it feels like it needs to get there too. It looks like it will as well, most likely. And not only that, but even down to the 1618 at 1593. I mean, these are dire circumstances, but yeah, it's possible. All right, we've seen craziness recently, so anything is game. Remember, this is a 4-hour price chart. Okay, interestingly. So then, yeah, we take that back to the daily. And we say, more importantly, on a daily, well, we're starting to break down below this 20 period average. So we're looking to hold that. We're looking to hold that region, that area, that zone. But again, we see that 1900 level as the next level for support, right? And we see that again over here as well. Okay, so here we go. It looks like that's a likely outcome. It looks like we're still in a day-to-day price chart, because that's what we're in, is a daily price chart. But it looks like overall we're looking to continue the trend towards higher prices, higher Satoshi prices. That time will come. 200-day moving average flattening out. I mean, when was the last time this sucker? I just want to pay attention. I want to notice something for everyone, okay? When was the last time that the 200-day moving average, let's just for the sake here, when was the last time that it sloped up this much? When was the last time that the 200-day moving average sloped up like that and is starting to provide some sort of sideways potential now? Yes, it's going to slope down and then, but up, down is sideways, where it really has not. Look at that. Yeah. So when was the last time? It was all the way back in that 2019 move. So let's look for some regaining of that level, okay, and surpassing it and getting above it and using it as support. That's a huge important. Whoops, that's a huge important milestone, I would say, for the daily chart, is just to get above and hold the 200-day moving average. Is it just going to be the type of thing though where it never really just holds it and instead just shoots past it all the time and then comes back down and can't really hold it well for support? Maybe does this kind of chopping. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, interesting times. Daily price chart here, KMD, BTC. So the idea being, this is how we can get ourselves out into this type of area, right? By like February of 2022, right? These things are possible, and right? Does that start to make some sort of sense? Maybe 2022 is going to be that heavy bearish type of year, huh? Who knows? Again, we're all here to watch. I hope you are keeping yourself well by moving around and staying hydrated, sleeping well, cultivating yourself and your relationships and all that good stuff. We're looking for some better days on the daily chart for KMD BTC and be able to look back at these days as an interesting time to be around and observant. All right, that's the basic idea right now. It didn't, we were itching to go higher. Well, maybe it's a harder itch to scratch successfully at this current time. On the 4-hour time frame, well, we could be working our way back into a positive situation. Same thing daily, but first, maybe a little bit of this choppiness, right? But look what happens after some choppy, some big ups, some choppy, some big ups. So, big downs, choppies, big ups, choppies, big downs. That's how it seems to do. And it seems to like to go up and come down and go up again and come down. So we saw that it's going down and up, down and up. See, it's going to happen. At some level, at some point, we are taking it to We're taking it to the future times. Okay, I think that's it. This has been a long one, hasn't it? Yes, it has. I think that's it for now. No major call, no major idea. You can see where your price levels are. You can see what your timeframes are and act accordingly. Just thought I would share all of these notions with you, and I hope it made sense in some form or fashion. I hope that you've been entertained, educated, whatever it is, food for thought. All right, maybe you've been able to catch a good nap because of this. All right, whether you're watching in normal speed, 1.5x, 1.75x speed. Wow, good times ahead. All right, take care, everyone. Love, peace, happiness, or whatever you want. Till next time, goodbye.